Hey guys, it's Kimberly from the Fact Quarter Shop, and today I'm going to show you how to make the 3-hour baby gingham quilt. It uses the Essentially Yours collection by Moda Fabrics, and it literally just takes 3 hours. So let's get started. For this quilt, you need 3/4 of a yard of a light and a dark, and you need 1 3/8 yards of a medium. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to cut. So I'm going to start with my light and my dark. Lay them down. And at the bottom, I'm just going to make sure that my folds line up. And then on my medium, it's wider, so I'm going to fold that in half, so I've got double the width, and I'm going to line up the bottom fold. So now you've got 4 layers. You've got 2 medium, 1 light, and 1 dark. So we're going to be cutting through 4 layers. Use a Creative Grids ruler, and on the fold, line up a line with the ruler, and we're going to trim. That's going to give me my clean edge, and then I'm going to flip it. And now we're going to cut 4 times, 4 cuts that are 5.5 by width of fabric. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're just going to set this aside. It's just waist, and we really only need 30 inches wide here. So what I'm going to do on this, I'm going to do this way, and I'm just going to cut a little bit off. It does not have to be exact. So I'm just going to cut maybe a couple of inches off. And now let's go do our strip sets. First, we're going to start with our light strip set. You're going to use 4 light strips and 4 medium strips. And you can see our center fold here is creased. Don't worry about all these creases here. Once you sew your strips together, you can just iron those and they'll be completely flat. We're going to be using a light aurifil. I like to use color 2000. So let's go to the sewing machine and I can show you some tips. So on this, I'm going to use a 1/4 inch foot, and I'm just going to sew with a 2.0 stitch length. I'm not going to use pins, and I'm just going to go. This doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to go fast. So we've got our light strip set, and now we're going to subcut it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a clean line. So you've got a straight edge, and I'm just going to line up one of the stripes or a couple of the stripes with the edge to make sure we're cutting straight, and we're going to cut. And then I'll just scoot this down. Line up the bottom to make sure we're straight, and then line up the lines on the ruler with your stripes and cut. This is just waist. We're going to turn this around and we're going to make 5 subcuts that are 5.5 inches wide. And when we ironed this, I kind of forgot to talk about that. We pressed towards the medium. So make sure you press towards the medium. So there's our first strip. When you're done, you're going to have 5 light rows. Now we're going to make our dark strip set the same way. We're going to use 4 medium strips and 4 dark strips, and we're going to press towards our medium. From your dark strip set, you're going to cut 5 rows that are 5.5 inches by 40.5 inches. So to put your quilt center together, you're going to alternate your light and dark rows. I'm going to give you some tips on pinning. You just put them right side together, and since we've pressed everything to the medium, you're going to take your seam, push it over, make sure they nest, and pin. I'm going to do that for each row. Then you will stitch with a 1/4 inch seam allowance and press to one side. When you're finished, your quilt center will measure 40.5 by 50.5. You can download the 3-hour gingham pattern on the Fat Quarter Shop free pattern page, and within that pattern we have 6 colorways and all the SKUs you need so that you can make this quilt too. See you next time.